LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and I'm probably forgetting one or two. So let's see if this works here. Streaming's turned on, which is good. And then we'll just see if our video is being sent out to those different platforms or not. Not sure how it tells me in Restream that it's connected. Destination. See our chat. You can see our channels, 5 of 8 active. So it looks like I have other places I could go live on. See if this is working on any of our platforms. I see it on Facebook. I see it on LinkedIn now. Oh my goodness, there's so many places to check. And we're doing this from Microsoft Teams as opposed to where we usually do it, which is through on Twitter. I think I'm on YouTube as well. We'll check there, your videos, and let's see if there's a live video from today. I have too many channels, so we might be on the other channel. Nope, it looks like I'm on this channel. I see the icon. View channel. There we go. Okay, we're live there too. So I think we are live on all our platforms here. And welcome. This is Microsoft Teams live streaming to, I believe, 5 platforms right now. I can go live on up to 8 platforms. And this is something we haven't done before with Microsoft Teams. Typically when we use Teams, we just go live on LinkedIn, and then we leave the other platforms to either Restream or StreamYard. I know this is a feature that's in Restream. I don't know if it's a StreamYard feature. I'm going to have to go do some digging to see if that is a capability that StreamYard has as well, because this is pretty cool. We can use the tool that we like that has over 10 participants. It doesn't necessarily integrate the same way that chat does, but it looks like Restream still lets me open a window to take a look at what's happening with chats in one place, even though we're using Teams for this meeting. So the first thing we're going to do here is rearrange a couple windows so that I've got these handy dandy windows all over the place. And then we're going to share our main screen here to take a look at something that we can do through Microsoft PowerPoint that was released yesterday. So if I am tasked with coming up with a PowerPoint and I know what I want my presentation to be about, next week, for instance, I have a Microsoft Teams course. So create a presentation about Microsoft Teams virtual meetings with custom streaming, what I'm doing today. Instead of just going ahead and wildly deciding what slides should be put in, what order they should be put in, and not giving me a lot of feedback in the process of creating my slides and my slideshow, here within the Copilot Wave 2 that was released yesterday, this went to Just general availability is the idea that Copilot in PowerPoint can give me an idea of what it's thinking about for the outline before producing the slides associated with it. So I can see here that I've got an introduction to Microsoft Teams, setting up virtual meetings, which is the underpinning of doing a custom stream within a meeting, hosting meetings. I am the host, I'm the owner of this meeting, I'm the presenter, and we can take a look at other meeting info here and meeting settings, meeting options. So I can take a look at the fact that I've got certain settings turned on and off. I'm the organizer. I don't have any co-organizers at this point, but we could look at different virtual meeting settings. And then we have a slide that's specific to the custom streaming on Microsoft Teams, which is what we wanted to talk about. And then we have advanced features and tips like recording our meetings, transcription and translation services, security and privacy considerations. So if I'm happy with this, I'm all good. If I want to move something like the custom streaming up a little bit, because that's really the topic that I wanted to cover here, setting up the virtual meeting and then custom streaming, host effective meetings, and advanced features and tips looks like a great set of slides and content. I can go ahead from here and generate my slides. And then what we typically see happen in one step is now multi-steps with this new wave of Copilot in PowerPoint. I tested this morning in both Microsoft PowerPoint for the web, and I'm using PowerPoint on my Surface Pro 11th edition. And here we can see that I have sections for the introduction to Microsoft Teams, setting up virtual meetings, 4 slides, or a header slide and 3 slides, custom streaming, 3 slides with a header. And then in my slides, I also have, which is probably my favorite feature of just PowerPoint with Copilot, custom speaker notes. So instead of just sitting with maybe the same information that's on the slide that I have a tendency to read with speaker notes, as Frank Falvey showed us on the Azure and AI show, the speaker notes are different than what the text is on my slide, so that if I read custom streaming is a powerful feature that allows you to broadcast your virtual meetings to a wider audience while still maintaining control over your content and participants, I am not reading exactly what is on this slide. I'm getting the same gist, but I'm using different words. So speaker notes are super helpful. And in many cases, these are something that presentations lack, especially if they've just been put together with graphics and are only focused on the delivery of the presentation, not necessarily the notes or the backstory of what's on the slide or additional resources, etc. One thing I have noticed with the Microsoft official trainer slides is a lot of times in the speaker notes, they put in links as reference for the trainer. The problem with that approach in PowerPoint is the speaker note window, which I can probably drag over here so you can see what I'm looking at on my secondary monitor. Here's my speaker notes. And here's the information that's on the slide. And it's very, very close, but we've got a couple differences in the speaker note versus the slide content. If I put a link into my slides, and it doesn't look like I can edit these anymore. Used to be able to edit these on the fly, which was nice because then you could, yeah, you can't anymore. When you were in a presentation, you could actually take notes through the speaker notes in presentation view. And it doesn't look like that is a feature anymore. I'm assuming it's because it wasn't used heavily. But the thing I didn't like about that was then your speaker notes end up being in your presentation and are not available for use when you need them when you're giving the presentation. So for instance, if I put in a link here to copilot.cloud.microsoft and hit enter, and then I go back to present mode, and we go back to that particular slide. Normally it picks these up immediately. There it goes. Now that the link is in the PowerPoint and not in the speaker notes, I can actually use the PowerPoint to navigate out to copilot.cloud.microsoft, the new top-level domain for Microsoft. And in that window, it allows me to sign in and then use certain functionality of Copilot from the browser, not just from the applications like Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, etc. So that was one thing that I wanted to give a live demonstration of today, was the new narrator or narrative in the PowerPoint application. So we start with, to get out of presentation mode here, hit escape, start with a new blank presentation, and then immediately at the top here we get create a presentation about, or create a presentation from a file, or ask Copilot. We still have the Copilot pane to the far right that we can use, create a presentation about, create a presentation from a file, or add a slide about. You can also see if we have any chat history with Copilot as we've been trying to iterate on our idea. But here I can go ahead and say, I need to create a presentation about legal use of Microsoft Copilot internally at a financial institution. And again, instead of just coming up with, here's the slides I decided to create in the order I decided to create them in, I can see we have an introduction to Microsoft Copilot, grounding in just what is Microsoft Copilot, and then legal and regulatory considerations, implementation strategies, challenges and solutions, and future directions and innovations. If I'm happy with all of this, I can let Copilot know and like the information, and had not thought about challenges facing the legal industry. And then I can say I want to share my prompt, and off that goes to Microsoft. Now that I'm happy with this, if I don't want to make any changes, I can make changes to the prompt, provide more details, provide the audience, provide the specifics of maybe the legal group that I'm speaking with. And then off Copilot goes to do its work about generating our slides. And then we can see that preview of these different sections and slides before committing to this looks pretty good, maybe as a starting point. Maybe I still need a couple other things within my PowerPoint, but I've got this beautiful presentation now with section headers, a conclusion, many of the slides with graphics, and then I can always go in and use some of the Copilot features that are available. Let's see here. Do I need to go into a different view to use this? There we go, Copilot. And then I can add a slide about, or I can do different things, or I can always come down here and view different prompts. Add an image. And if I'm on one of my slides without an image, maybe that's one thing I want to do, is add an image of Copilot in PowerPoint. Let's see if Copilot can help me out with that specifically. There we go. We've got our Copilot sitting in a plane. And I said Copilot in PowerPoint. It focused on the fact that I said Copilot, not necessarily inside of PowerPoint. We've got the Copilot icon up here in the upper right. You'll notice that the Copilot icon in PowerPoint is orange. Copilot icon in Word is going to be blue. So in the particular products, it picks up the shades of the application. And then it looks like in the Copilot pane, we had the multicolored. Let's show the tabs within there. We have the multicolored Copilot logo there. So this is a little bit about some of the new features that have come out for Copilot specifically in PowerPoint as of yesterday. And let's hop over to our other window here. Take a look at if anything's going on in Restream from our various platforms. Looks like we're good with the encoder portion. It does tell me that I'm live. Gives me a link to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, my other YouTube, and my X account are all live right now with this presentation. So we're using Microsoft Teams. We are custom streaming to 5 different platforms with Restream, a feature that they have recently introduced. And again, I don't know if this is a differentiator for Restream over StreamYard at this point. StreamYard has some features that Restream doesn't have. Restream has some features that StreamYard doesn't have. But this was one particular feature that I was really excited to try out and has been on my to-do list for quite a while. So I decided today would be a perfect day to go ahead and test it out, see how it's working. So now we have our PowerPoint. We have actually 2 PowerPoints. We have the one we did for legal, and we have the one we did for, this was a presentation for Microsoft Teams and virtual meetings. So I have both of these PowerPoints now created in a form that I can execute. Corporate branding on, that was one of the other announcements with Wave 2 is some corporate branding and standardization so that these meet my corporate branding guidelines, not necessarily Microsoft's best iteration of something that looks professional and may not meet my company branding guidelines. So we'll play around with that probably in the next live event. Now that I have it working with Microsoft Teams, guess what I'm going to be using more often than StreamYard or Restream natively. I like using them natively because they're browser-based, but I am a MVP in Teams as well as Copilot, so you can imagine that I'm much happier when I get to talk about Teams and Copilot using Microsoft Teams and maybe in conjunction with other services, in this case, StreamYard. Watch for a course coming very soon on this. We have a virtual meetings and custom streaming course we are about to publish, and I'm sure this will be part of it. Have a great rest of your day. And if I don't see you sooner, I hope you have registered for Microsoft Ignite. If you'll be there in person in Chicago, we should definitely meet up. And with that, let's figure out how we actually turn this off. I know we can do this from the Teams side. I know where to go and what to do there. But I'm wondering if there's a way to do this from the Restream side. So from the Teams side, all I have to do is go back into my custom stream, and I can stop stream right here. However, from the Restream side, it's live. I can see that it's live. I can see that it's showing if there's different things going on in the session. But interestingly enough, I don't see any indication of turning off the streaming.